Hey, what's going on, my fellow collectors? Jim here with another figure review, and tonight I'm very excited to be taking a look at the Mezco 112 Collective Space Ghost figure. How cool is this? I was on the wait list for this, so I'm very excited to finally have it. But this is the packaging. There is a slip cover that goes over this that has the exact same thing on it. I already took that off. But we do get this nice bright yellow box, Space Ghost 112. The top you got the 112, the bottom you got that. On the side you got the Space Ghost, little image there, 112. Then the back of the box is really impressive. I love all these pictures that we get. Then you get a picture of the figure there, Space Ghost. And we do get the little magnet. Open this up and you get the cool little artwork inside of the Space Ghost. Get a little protective cover there. And you get the cover behind the packaging clamshell. Very, very excited. So let's pop this thing open and take a look at the awesome Space Ghost. Okay, and here he is all out of the packaging, and I'm just geeking out at the moment. We get a ton of stuff with Space Ghost. Very, very nice. A lot to go through. So I'm going to go through all the accessories first, and then we'll just take a look at Space Ghost. But starting off, we do get the Mezco bag, which is pretty standard. We do get the Mezco stand, which looks really nice. Nice yellow color, and you get the Space Ghost symbol in there. And of course, you do have the peg. You can either peg the figure onto with the foothold on the bottom, which I don't think Space Ghost... Oh, yeah, he does. Okay. I was going to say, because his feet are like all cloth material going all the way down, but there is sole at the bottom, and he does have peg holes at the bottom. So you can either peg them in there, or you could pop that out, put the dynamic stand in, and that hinges at the bottom, hinges in the middle, hinges at the top, swivels at the top, and of course you do have a clamp. But that is the stand and the bag. Really nice touches. And then Space Ghost comes with a bunch of different effects, and I can't remember off the top of my head what all these are, but we do get really, really nice effects. I mean, look at this. Really, really nice translucent plastic with like really nice colors all throughout it. And I believe you can put this on his, you can peg this onto his hand. I'm pretty sure these are the magna rays that he used to shoot out of his hands. And then I know there was a freeze effect, a explosion effect. So I don't know which ones are which. But again, you get another really nice translucent piece, almost like a fireball. You can peg that into his hands as well. Now this is a little bit like brittle. Like you could easily crack that off. It's definitely like a kind of, I don't want to say cheap plastic, but it's a very fragile plastic. Both of these are, so definitely keep that in mind. And then you get another effect that has the hand already in it. And this effect, again, looks really, really nice. Nice translucent blue. Get these really cool like effects down here. And again, this is this is softer. It's not as brittle, as fragile as that. This is kind of soft, but I don't know. I just feel like these could break very easily. But this is really cool because you get the hand in it as well. Then you get another effect, which is like this kind of green effect. And this, again, looks really, really nice. You get nice sculpt work all throughout this. And of course you get kind of like the dark green that kind of goes into a lighter green. And then you do get his two, I believe these are the magna ray hands that he would shoot out of his hands. So the hands are already, sculpted into them, which is really nice. You don't have to worry about snapping these on and off the hands. And these look really good. Nice translucent yellow. Let's see if I can get a little closer. But you get nice sculpt in it, nice yellow, and again, there's the hands on them as well. And then Space Ghost comes with the set of fists that he has on him. Then he has two of these hands. And the hands are done, really nice sculpt on them, and they're kind of like a pearly white almost. And then you get two of this kind of like, sign-off hands. Get a pair of those. And then you get two flight pose hands. And of course you do have the two fists that come on him. And then if that wasn't enough, you also get his trusty side kick Blimp. I believe this monkey's name is, if I'm saying that right. But I mean, Blimp himself is pretty impressive, just himself. I mean, you get some nice detail in him, nice sculpt work, nice paint. And then he even actually has articulation. So he has articulation. You can rotate the head. There's a hinge and swivel at the arm, so you can hinge it out, rotate that all the way around. There is a bend at the elbow. His hands do not rotate, but this rotates, so his like lower arm rotates around that. And of course that hinges in only about that much. But I mean, his suit looks really good. You get that nice, that nice blue color on there, and you get the little Space Ghost symbol. His belt looks good. The rest of it's pretty much just molded in the yellow. But his feet look really good. His feet look really cool, actually. You get that continuation of the blue. You do have movement in his legs, so his legs will go in and out like that. It feels like there's a little bit of swivel on there, but I think it's just more or less a swivel out. And you do get a hinge ball down here at the knee, so that'll bend back about that much. And of course that'll rotate. And then his feet, you get a little bit of hinge up and down. And of course back and forth and rotation. So you basically just get little ball joints everywhere on this guy. And he's definitely a little bit, I feel like he's a little bit on the fragile side, like those ball joints could break. But I mean, he looks great. Really good job with what they did on him. I think he looks awesome in his cape, or not his cape, his little what was that, like a backpack or something. And his tail does have a swivel in it as well. There's the bottom of his feet. So I mean, that's awesome. So you basically get another little figure, pretty much with this Space Ghost. So very, very cool. He's got some pretty nice articulation in him as well. And then you do get a extra head sculpt that kind of has him like, smiling. And that looks really good. Done really well. Unfortunately, it's, both heads are basically just the head and the neck. So really all you're going to get is swivel out of that, unfortunately. But let's get down to the meat and beans and take a look at this awesome Space Ghost figure. So this is the first head sculpt we get on him, and it's just kind of like his stern, Space Ghost look. Again, the head is basically just on the neck, so you're really only going to get rotation. But I mean, it does allow you to give a little bit of forward and back. But looking at the suit, I think they did a really good job with this. I love the bright white color that we get with this. I'm also worried that it's going to get dirty, but hopefully put him behind glass, you shouldn't have that much of an issue. But I like the body, type that Mezco chose for him. He definitely looks, nice and bulky and buff, and looks really good. And like I said, this cloth goes all the way down and covers up his entire foot, but the bottom of his foot is a plastic with the treads and the peg holes. But again, the suit is kind of like that stretchy, spandexy material that Mezco used, kind of like Flash. You get his little gauntlets here, which look really good. Nice paint and sculpt on those. His belt looks really good. Love the little symbol in the middle there for the Space Ghost. And coming up the back of the figure again, I mean, you get nice muscle definition all throughout this suit. Back of the belt. And then you have the cape, which is done really, really nice. It's like this nice yellow color, but it also has wire, bendy wire, all throughout it. So all of this is bendy wire all the way throughout the cape. So I think that's really, really cool. I like that they did that. So I mean, he definitely looks like he popped right out of the old, cartoon. Now, as far as articulation for Space Ghost, like I said, the head is basically connected to the neck, but you do get, full 360 rotation. You do get nice side to side, and you get, You get about that much forward until you just pop the head off. You get about pretty much looking straight up. So you don't really get any, you know, straight up, which is a little bit disappointing because he is a flying character, of course. As far as the shoulders, you do get nice range with that. I mean, you get, you know, way over 90 degrees. That will swivel all the way around, but of course you got to be careful with this suit. You want to make sure you kind of stretch it back to where it's supposed to go. But you do get nice hinge in that ball joint. You get a tiny little bit of forward and back. It's not I don't think it's a butterfly, but you do get a little bit of movement, you know, back and forth. There is a bicep swivel. Double jointed elbows, which only come up about that much. Of course, all the hands do swivel and hinge, however you set that ball. You get a diaphragm cut in there, which you can kind of see. So I mean, but that gives you, you know, side to side movement, gives you side to side bend, but it kind of springs back up. You get about that much crunch back, about that much crunch forward. Then of course you get the same movement at the waist. So with both of them, you get about that much back and about that much forward, and of course, you know, movement side to side all around. So I mean, nice movement. There is, I don't think there's a waist. There is a little bit of a twist in there as well at the waist. I don't know if it's a waist twist completely or it's just a, you know, double ball peg that's, you know, giving it that motion. But the legs come out about that much. I wouldn't want to really go too much further than that. Come forward about that much, go back about that much. You do have thigh swivel in there, even though this one is really tight. There it is. You get double jointed knees, which come back really good. And his feet, I don't know if that's a ball. I'm sure it's pretty much the same kind of joint like the hands, but you get about that much back. You don't really get much forward. You do get, you know, rotation, and you don't really get much pivot at all. So I mean, overall, he definitely has some good articulation to him. I just think overall he just looks fantastic. I mean, he looks great. Yeah, he looks absolutely great. Definitely looks just like he did in the show. And if you're a Space Ghost fan, you know, you're gonna love this. This is just the kind of stuff that I am just such a sucker for when it comes to these old, you know, old and new cartoons that I just love watching. Adult Swim type stuff. The Hanna-Barbera era, you know. Really, really cool. And as far as his effects, the hands do come off. It's basically just a peg. And you can peg these other hands into them. And, I mean, he does kind of hold it up. It is a little bit, you know, on the heavy side for him, but he will hold that up. So that's really cool. So he holds his effects up really well. And then his gamma ray hands, I just popped his head off. He holds those up really nice, and they look really good. That's awesome. Love that. Let's put the other head sculpt on him and show you guys what he looks like with that. With his cheese and head. Oh, that hand just fell right off, didn't it? Maybe it wasn't on there all the way. There we go. So yeah, I mean, the effects are a little bit heavy, but it doesn't seem like he's having too much trouble holding them up. Let's try this one. Yeah, he doesn't have much trouble holding any of them up at all. So it is cool that they, you know, included so many different options for Space Ghost. I mean, that's just great. Tons and tons of options. Whoop, that was my phone just going off there. Let's get both of these on there. Oh, be gentle. There we go. So yeah, that's freaking awesome. And like I said, the cape has that bendy wire in it, so you can get nice movement with that. So that's gonna look really, really good. And as far as a measurement, and I'll do that for Sphinx too. He's a little bit over 6 inches tall, or blimps. He is 3.5 inches tall. And as far as some comparisons, what he's going to look like on the shelf, here's a Marvel Legends. So you see he's pretty much in scale with the Marvel Legends. And here is another Mezco Flash. So I thought these two were pretty much kind of the same, but it's definitely a different, you know, body, because he's definitely much more buff than Flash is. Or at least the upper torso is. The legs might be about the same, so they kind of look about the same. But here's a NECA Xenomorph. Give you a little comparison as far as a big NECA figure, so you see how much, you know, difference he is there. But yeah, guys, that is the Mezco 112 Collective Space Ghost figure. I think for anybody who is whether you're a Mezco collector or you're a Space Ghost fan, I mean, this is definitely one you want to get. It's really, really good. There is another version of this that I almost broke down and picked up, and it's a exclusive, and it's basically, you basically get the same suit, but it's a glow in the dark, and all of the accessories, you get the same accessories, and you even get I keep forgetting his name, Binks, might be saying that wrong, but you even get him too, but everything is just completely translucent, so there's no color in anything whatsoever. So I mean, if you like that, then you know that would definitely be more for you. I definitely wanted to get the ones that had all the color effects with them, but I almost broke down and got that one just because I wanted it in hand to check it out so bad, and I was so tired of waiting forever on the wait list to get my figure. But it finally came. I'm definitely happy with it. You know, what do you guys think? Do you guys love the Space Ghost, the Mezco 112 Space Ghost figure? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Is it something that you're gonna get? Let me know down in the comments below. But that is the review, guys. I'm super pumped. Can't wait to get him up on the shelf with all my other Adult Swim, you know, featured characters. That's where he's gonna go, at least in my collection. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. You know, let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll check you guys on the next figure review.